So have you played this game? This is Bully, a Rockstar game that came out in 2006, and for me this is one of the Rockstar's best games ever. Why? Because it was perfect. For a kid that went to school at the time, this game was awesome. Taking place at the fictional Bulworth Academy and the surrounding area, Bully slips you into the sneakers of a 15-year-old Jimmy Hopkins, who is dropped off outside the gates of his new educational institution by his mother and newly minted stepfather, who Jimmy is quick to antagonize with his insults. From here, Bully welcomes you into a messed up school where the bullies rule and the little guys suffer. What makes Bully distinct from all other Rockstar games is the unique setting and all of the little things you can do in it, in the form of various school lessons you can attend and missions you carry out for students and the faculty, as well as the juvenile tools of the trade at your disposal, like a bag of marbles, stink bombs, a slingshot, and itching powder. It was so special, like lighting up your shit in front of a teacher's house and then watching them step in it. It was so cool. The setting for me when I was a kid felt so good, like I'm going to classes, chasing girls, pranking teachers and other students. It felt really lived in. When we think of educational institutions, they're always in some kind of order, but in Bully, the stench of corruption lingers thick in the Bulworth Academy's corridors. It's a classic case of the snobbish ignorance of higher-ups and the turmoil of the underclasses. And Bully plays around with this very gracefully. The open world is a lot smaller than those in GTA's, consisting of just the school grounds and the surrounding Bulworth's town, but it's just as successful in creating a sense of place, and sometimes it feels just right as you really get the feel of student life. It feels oddly real compared to GTA's expansive backdrops, and it's deliberately normal and very detailed. There's a rougher industrial district, an area full of posh houses, a park, a town hall, and a pier. It's deliberately grounded. On some level, I think the game's success comes down to its ability to reflect what it's like to live through school in your teenage years. Unlike other Rockstar open worlds, Bulworth changes over the course of the year to reflect the passage of time. At Halloween, the school grounds are full of pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, and gravestones, and Jimmy's schoolmates are in fancy dresses. At Christmas, the town is covered in snow, while the NPCs are dressed for winter. A host of missions dials in on the festive theme, the most memorable of which involves helping out the town's unfortunate drunk, Rudy, as he plays a not-so-convincing Santa Claus for the town's kids. Jimmy even gets sent a terrible festive jumper by his mom. Eventually the snow passes and the sky is clear for the springtime. A school year is a real journey when you're 15 or 16, and Bully is very successful at capturing that. I remember it in much the same way, always having my eye on the next holiday or event, while the actual education part was largely irrelevant. It was the moments in between school that made it what it was for all of us, and that's what Bully is about. Jimmy's interactions with other kids, the other kids' relationships with each other, nonsensical rivalries, awkward romances, class struggles, bike races, football, paper rounds, the fun fair, throwing firecrackers. Like, it was so cool to be able to have different set of drivable vehicles in Bully. You had your BMX, which you could upgrade in the shop class, you could steal bikes too, you could get a go-kart. It was ridiculous. I didn't even know you could unlock this until I played later. You can steal a moped, and my personal favorite, as I'm sure a lot of people's is the skateboard. You get it by completing a mission, and boy, let me tell you, I adored going everywhere with that skateboard. It made the school life complete. The game was so funny and simple. You know, when Bully came out, the missions didn't feel like they made sense, but it was this dumb fun and it made it all good. For example, in the Revenge on Mr. Burton mission, which is one of the funny ones, you wait for Mr. Burton to get into a porta potty when he's on a run, and then you ram it with your tractor, splashing poop all over him. Like, it's funny, but my favorite mission of all is Halloween. First you have to prank a couple of students, riding Kick Me on their back or throwing eggs at them, and then it all ties together with the big prank, making some dog take a shit and lighting it on fire. The game does have a lot of poop jokes and pranks in it. Come to think of it, it's kinda weird actually. I don't know why I like this mission, probably that as a kid I found all of this kinda silly, because it is, so I enjoyed it. As Jimmy Hopkins, you are there to right the school's wrongs. Jimmy goes from being an outsider to the champion of the school. And his motivation isn't much more than sticking it to the people who deserve it, whether that's other students or even the school's teachers. That's why he's one of the Rockstar's most likable protagonists. I think, and it's among the reasons players might feel more a personal affinity with Bully than they do with other Rockstar games, at least I did when I played it back when I was going to school. You resonate with him, making sure that karma catches the bullies and corrupt teachers. It's a fun interpretation of what school life was, with just enough truth in it to mean something to the player. Bully was an amazing title and people did enjoy it, prompting the studio to try to create a sequel to it. Recently there have been articles that confirm that Rockstar was planning for Bully 2 back in 2009, but that was cancelled. Rockstar Games was developing Bully 2 at their New England studio in 2008 and had 6 to 7 hours of playable game content before development halted as developers were moved to other projects. This is according to ex-developers at Rockstar New England who say that by the end of the 2009, Bully 2 was effectively dead. There have been many stories over the years of the game's development and cancellation, but none have been so thoroughly detailed until now. Of note, these sources all but confirm that the 2017 leaks of concept art on a Twitter account called Bully 2 Info were actually generally legitimate. Bully 2 was in active development for something like 12 to 18 months according to these developers, before it was softly killed by Rockstar's management. At one point it appears that almost the entire New England studio of 50 to 70 people was working on the game. Over that time, however, more and more developers were moved to games like Max Payne 2 and Red Dead Redemption. The vision for the unfinished game was expansive. While the map was small by today's standards, every building was intended to be enterable, either legitimately or by breaking in and entering. Technology developed in the prototype like dynamically breaking glass would find its way into later Rockstar games, for example Max Payne 3. NPCs were also intended to remember a bit about the character's behavior, an idea which later made its way into Red Dead Redemption 2. Other details like dynamically growing grass for lawn mowing are the kind of signature in-depth game mechanics that define the last decades of Rockstar games. Earlier this year, Take-Two Interactive updated the Bully trademark 3 times in a single day, despite previous reports alleging Bully 2 was cancelled in 2019 due to Rockstar's ongoing work with the GTA 6. Additionally, the word bully and the expression bully-free world were claimed earlier this month, insinuating that Bully's IP is still top priority for the company. This led to fan speculation once more about the possibility of the long-awaited sequel undergoing development. We don't know if a version of Bully 2 will ever see the light of day, but a decade after development, people that worked on the project still express fondness for the game and their work. And they say they still hope they'll get a chance to play a full release. This is what one former developer had to say. It was going to be really cool. What we had was pretty amazing, especially given the very short amount of time that we were working on it. It certainly would have been a unique, very interesting, certainly a lot of fun. A lot of cool and interesting mechanics that we were working on that still aren't in other games. But some rumors say that it's more likely that we will see the remaster of the original Bully game than the sequel to it, which is what Rockstar is more about in today's age, remastering great games and turning them to shit. It does seem more believable that a remaster would be in their direction. But even though we might never see Bully 2, most people that worked on the first game are not even in the company anymore. And with the direction the Rockstar is going, maybe it's for the better to keep Bully only in our memory.